laugh out loud moments on paternity court.
What, rubbing your big old feet? Rubbing them big old legs, them hips, them wrists? Yeah.
He's trying to jump.
Baby, I look ugly.
Because when you came in the courtroom, you said you couldn't look at him. Can you look at him for the first time? Oh, honey.
In this case, a 15-year journey filled with ups and downs, Mr. Sterling finds himself facing an unexpected twist. He vehemently denies being the biological father of his lover's adorable 11-month-old son. The truth, shrouded in confusion and uncertainty, creates a gripping tale of love, trust, and undeniable paternity secrets.
Basically, Mr. Sterling needs to step up and take care of his baby that he knows is his. You know, I'm not going to do this by myself. So I'm here because I want to prove paternity to him that this is his child.
And so you've been doing it by yourself thus far?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
11 months, casing is?
Our birthday is tomorrow, so he'll be 1. I had him on my birthday last year.
It remains to be seen what will come of Mr. Sterling's paternity concerns. The baby mama had some harsh words for him, accusing him of being a sneak and a deadbeat. However, it's important to consider his side of the story before making any judgments. Let's take a look at what he had to say about his doubts.
The first date on this calendar says the doctor's appointment was on March 21st, and the doctor says that Miss Harris is 6 to 8 weeks pregnant, and you had sex on Valentine's Day. So now, that is the last week in January.
Told me the HCG number of the blood test showed that I was between 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, that's a tough one. But to complicate matters further, the plaintiff confessed to the defendant sometime near her 8-month pregnancy that there was another rider on her horse 2 weeks before she was intimate with the defendant. Whoa, that's a shift in the rift.
2 weeks before the time when you were intimate with her, which is February 14th, 2 weeks before that would be around the first week in February, last weekend of January. You're saying it puts the window right at the time.
But the plaintiff was not willing to admit that she had had unprotected sexual encounter with the other guy. Therefore, the defendant claims that she's a liar and blames her for the fact that he has to be in this lawsuit. He's clear on the stance that he does not want to father another man's child.
We here today for a reason.
Things
because
happen.
she is
Either
lying.
you're the dad
because
or you're not.
She is a liar. That's the reason we here today. And
exactly, because you're a liar, you need to step up pretty much.
I don't want to take care of another man's child.
You don't,
yes,
you
I
don't
do.
take care of
him.
yourself.
I love that little boy. You know that.
Don't sit here
you know
and
that.
like you just
you
don't
know
want to
that.
take
That's
care
the
of
reason
another
you
man,
want
baby.
me to be the
First
baby
of all,
daddy.
you don't
For
take
me
care
not
of
to have
yourself
nothing,
or
for
the
me not
child
to
that
be
you already
nothing.
got.
Regardless of the facts alleged, the plaintiff was 100% certain that the defendant was the father. She kept asking Judge Lake to hold the defendant responsible, but among all the to and fro allegations, the plaintiff had some more details to share about Mr. Sterling cheating.
Because I was not having sex
I was
like
getting
that.
it in, man. God.
Yeah, we were getting it in, just like you done got it in the condom broke with another girl.
Okay.
That's another story. We'll say that for couples court.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this will be an ongoing saga. Let's deal with the paternity issue now.
Well, whether we get to see them in couples court or not, that's a question for later. But right now, the baby's here, and we have to discuss paternity. But wait a minute, why did Mr. Sterling sign the birth certificate if he was struggling with all of this doubt?
Why execute the birth certificate if you know you have doubt?
Just because she might have been mad. Maybe she did just say this out of
Because
the
you know
side
you
of her.
cheated, you lied, and you wrong.
Whatever. So maybe she did say this out of just spite, you know what I'm saying? When she had the baby, I still was there. I was still there, and I was still doing what I can, being by her side, rubbing them big old legs.
It was clear that the only chance for the plaintiff's son to have a responsible father in his life was this DNA test. With so many twists and turns that we only hoped the result would finally bring closure, Mr. Sterling came to paternity court. Here is what the DNA envelope holds this time.
Mr. Sterling, you are the father.
Exactly. So what you got to say now,
You
baby?
are his father.
All this, next. See, you know, we got to leave here. You know that, right? Why
You know what, Miss Harris? There are men that don't come see their children because they don't want to deal with a woman that acts like you.
Miss Ray got a bit of a situation on her hands. She brings not one, but 2 men to court, all in a desperate attempt to unveil the truth about who the father of her child is. I mean, talk about a tough spot to be in. But hey, she's determined and she wants some answers. Let's see how this unfolds.
The end of the summer in 2011, me and Mr. Wise was on a break. Mr. Eastham was a longtime friend of mine, a shoulder to cry on, and we had 2 different occasions that we had got drunk and partied together. We do not know if we had sex. It is a possibility that he could be Jordan's father.
Miss Ray told the court about her changing relationship with Mr. Eastham. She described her sexual encounters with him and confessed to Mr. Weiss her infidelity 2 months after the baby was born. I suppose this does show she was feeling a guilty conscience.
Mr. Eastham, you actually submitted baby pictures of yourself.
And now that Jordan's hair cut, now that Jordan's hair is cut,
like him too.
You believe he looks like Mr. Eastham as well?
Yes, Your Honor. Until he got a little bit older.
Until he got older.
And then he looks like me now.
Now you feel like he looks like you?
Well, we're in paternity court, and I can tell you that the judge here believes in facts and deeds, not just photos. As this session progressed, it became clear that these 2 men have always been there for the child. Or, more like, they wanted to be with the mama.
Developed a strong relationship with Jordan as well.
So if he's not mine, it's gonna crush me.
And it would crush me and crush Jordan.
It's gonna hurt so bad.
I don't know what I would do if Jordan wasn't Mr. Wise. It would crush all of us. Except I feel like it would make Dave the happiest person on earth, which
Yeah, I see it happening too.
I know he would be good to Jordan.
Nobody's feelings. I'm not trying to hear nobody's feelings.
Miss Frey testified that Mr. Eastham had also tried to sabotage her relationship with Mr. Weiss. She said in court that his reasons for doing so were nothing more than envy. Although he denied the allegations, his constant meddling and malicious intent spoke louder than words.
We've been together solid pretty much.
Okay.
Maybe a
About a
break.
year and a
maybe
half.
Maybe
So
a break
now
here.
you've been together solid, is that dating?
No, like we lived together, stayed together.
Oh, you live together?
Yeah, for the last year and a half we did.
I've been
Jordan
there
is
raising that boy.
too.
Right yeah.
Jordan was 2 months old when me and Mr. Wise split up. It was right after I told him there was a possibility Dave could be the father.
As the saying goes, we don't appreciate what we have, but we also want what others have. It was the same here with Mr. Eastham. He blamed baby mama for hopping back and forth between the 2 men, explaining it to be toxic. But don't worry, she's got herself covered.
How come 2 hours ago it was, I love you so much, I can't wait to see you back in our city.
Okay, I did say that.
But I'm such a, why would you want me?
I'm not talking about right now.
Oh, but I was in the past? This is someone I was with since I've been 14 years old.
Okay.
I fell in love with my best friend and made a mistake when we were partying.
But the drama between them was far from over. She hoped to build a relationship with one of them after she found out about the biological father. But what happened when Judge Lake briefed her? As it stands, we can all see the way this triangular mess is gonna go.
To get control, meaning fight that urge to go from one man to the next, one man to the next, and back, and forth, and back, and forth. That's what you've been doing.
The paternity case was still ongoing, and Judge Lake realized that further questions would only waste time. Therefore, she decided to close the case for both parties to reach a fair and final resolution. Here's what the results looked like.
Mr. Wise is his father.
I told you. I told everybody. I knew.
After 19 long years of faithfully paying for child support, the day arrived when Mr. Harrelson was face to face with his alleged daughter. With a mix of anticipation and nervousness, he met her. Yet, as they spoke, he respectfully denied the claim, expressing his doubts about his paternity.
My sister, she had moved in with a friend, so we went over there. We had visit. We were sitting, drinking, and talking. We talked on the step for a minute. We went upstairs and had sex, and that's what it was.
So it really was a brief encounter.
Yes.
Right, and then see after that.
And Mr. Harrelson, you
Everybody split
say you
ways.
didn't even know her name.
Nah.
He knew my name.
Not only that, but the baby mama lived a promiscuous life. At the time, Miss Smith was all about hit it and quit it. Her daughter Talash testifies, taking no sides, and explains to the court all of her mother's devious tricks.
They had sex or whatever. He said it was around his birthday, he was up on the influence, and supposedly my mama stole his ID and his social security card and went to put him on child support. When she went to go put him on child support, she gave them the wrong address, so therefore he never received no child support.
You're saying Mr. Harrelson told you that story?
I know for a fact she stole my ID and my social security card.
However, Mr. Harrelson was out of town long enough, and therefore never received a letter for child support appearances. This makes him the father by omission. I'm so confused that this man paid child support for 20 years but never requested a DNA test. Here's what he has to say about it.
You did not show up to court, and this debt is all for a child you don't believe is your biological child.
I've tried throughout the years to get DNA tests, and she just wouldn't cooperate with that.
He didn't want to pay for it. He wanted me to go half. I'm not paying for half. I know she mine. I know she mine.
For the girl in search of her biological father, on the other hand, life has been hard. She believes her life choices are a product of poor parenting because growing up, she had no one to tell her to sit down and control herself.
She never gave me a different name. She always said his name was Raymond Harrison. He had like 2 pages then. And so I messaged both of them. I was like, I think you're my dad, I think you're my dad. He said, is your mom Kawana? I was like, yeah, why? And then the conversation just went from there.
And you see it's Talea, and she's saying, I think you're my dad. You ask her, is this your mother?
Yes.
So, it didn't take long for her to find out who was paying child support. After that, Tala built up a relationship with her alleged father. However, he had to reject her because he was not sure whether he was the father. That's gotta hurt.
I'm gonna be 20 years old, and I just wouldn't see the point, but
20 years old is still very young, honey. And I want to tell you, there is no time frame on the feelings that you have related to wanting to know your father. Trust me, I see people each and every day, 50, 60 years old, still wanting to know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, one thing's clear, the stakes are high in this courtroom. The daughter seems resentful toward the mother and has no intention of letting go of the paternity drama anytime soon. Well, after enough testimony, everyone's been waiting for the results, and Judge Lake decided to reveal the truth.
Mr. Harrelson, you are the father.
So, apparently, there's this woman who boldly claims that she got pregnant with her daughter after engaging in a pretty wild threesome. Can you believe it? She claims it involved a drummer dude and his ex-girlfriend. Talk about a juicy story. But hey, who am I to judge?
The baby doesn't look like me from the get-go. Like, as soon as I saw her, she don't look like me. She doesn't have my nose, she doesn't have my eyes. Like, I would see, features, that would resemble me, and she doesn't look anything like me. I just want to know. I mean, if she is mine, then okay, I'll man up and take care of my little girl. But if she's not mine, then I want my name back.
Mr. Evans was engrossed in playing drums downtown when a woman caught his attention. She unexpectedly surprised him by flashing her bare chest. This audacious act left the drummer boy bewildered, his jaws dropping as the unforgettable sight sparked curiosity and conversation between the two. Well now, that's not something you're gonna see happening every day.
They're putting more money in, everybody's entertained, she's dancing on your lap and you playing the drum.
Yeah, then I get a phone call from my ex saying that she's at my house right now. She brought a guy over. He lost his job, he needed a place to stay. It was the only place that she can think of to bring him. And I'm just like, you know what, fine.
Well, talk about surprises. As soon as they got home, they found themselves in quite the situation. Imagine their shock when his ex unexpectedly appeared and joined them for a steamy threesome. That moment must have been a mixture of excitement, confusion, and a whole lot of emotions running wild. Here is what Mr. Evans testified.
A threesome and a game of tug of war at the same time?
No.
So after about a minute or so, I'm just like, hey, y'all quit fighting. There's enough for me for both of y'all.
It's enough for both of y'all?
Yes.
No.
There's enough for me for both of y'all. And I'm just like, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, this is amazing, I can't,
Well, it seems Miss Snyder has quite a bold explanation for the situation. According to her, due to her week-long stay at Mr. Evans' house and their frequent intimate activities together, he is the apparent father. While some might find this reasoning unconventional, Miss Snyder firmly stands by her statement.
She had slept with someone else.
Who's this other person you slept with?
I do admit I slept with someone else. We also used protection, and it was what would have been after the conception date, though. It was like a week or two afterwards. I had been knowing him for a little bit, but we did use protection.
Miss Snyder, being committed to strengthening her argument, decided to bring a conception calendar. The intriguing thing about this calendar is that its dates seem to align perfectly with Mr. Evans. It's like the universe is holding up a sign indicating his involvement, adding a compelling twist to the story.
Do you believe you are Lainey's biological father?
No, she's not mine. I'm not the father. I do not believe that I am the father.
But are you basing all of this just on looks because you don't think she looks like you? A baby's face forms and develops over time. She may not seem to have your features now, but maybe she will later.
Well, that's what I need. I need proof. I need proof of that.
Not knowing if it's his child has left Mr. Evans feeling uncertain about forming any connection with the alleged child. It's quite the dilemma now, isn't it? Trying to navigate fatherhood without clarity can be challenging for anyone. Well, I suppose that's just life.
But you do video chat with her,
Yeah.
and you get the pictures.
Yeah.
Why are you even staying in touch then?
I wanted to get a DNA test to find out if she was, because she did say that she was slept with this other man.
And so, Ms. Snyder, you gave Lainey Mr. Evans' last name.
Yes, Your Honor.
But he wasn't there for the birth or anything.
Well, let me tell you, paternity court is like a detective show. Judge Lay can't help but bring out the suspense in the courtroom. So, without wasting any more time, she knew it was time to reveal the DNA results. After all, in paternity court, the proof is everything.
Mr. Evans, you are not the father. You were right, Mr. Evans. You are not her biological father. I'm sorry, I know that wasn't the result you thought you were going to get today. Have you informed this other man that he could potentially be the biological father?
Told him.